Alright, we are on the play with Rug Delver. We have 4 lands, a Delver, a Mandrills, and a Bolt. This is one of those hands that could go either way, but I think we're going to keep it. We're going to go turn 1 Delver. Turn 2, we could potentially interact with something. Maybe we draw something we want to do. Which land do we start with? Probably a Steam Vents off of this Foothills. Red and blue are the colors we're most likely to be using early. Mandrills probably comes down around turn 3. Might come down on 2 though. Especially if we draw a Thought Scour. Let's see what we're up against. Urza's Tower. Expedition map. Okay. Well, the Bolt's going to face Shoal. That's at least a transformation, which is good. Scalding Tarn, let's get in there. And we're probably just going to crack this, get a breeding pool, and bolt the opponent's face. We could theoretically save the bolt for a Karn that's -3'd, but that's not super relevant. And getting the bolt in the yard sooner rather than later could help out Mandrills, or any Snapcaster Mages that we happen to draw. They have an Urza's Mine, which means that map is going to be a pain. I was hoping they didn't have the second Tron land, but that's not exactly realistic. So we have 1 card in the bin currently. If we bolt their face and fetch here, we can get 4 cards in the bin in total. Basilisk Collar, we're playing against Eldrazi Tron. That's actually much better for this particular scenario, I think. I am going to bolt their face because E-Tron probably has even fewer things that I want to bolt than Tron does. Let's get a breeding pool tapped. Our life total just became relevant. Stomping Ground. So if we fetch, we can play Mandrills for 2 mana. I almost want to fetch just so that we thin our deck slightly. Our opponent probably won't have Tron. Then again, they played this Collar knowing that they couldn't activate the map, so maybe they just have natural Tron in hand, which would suck. We definitely want to get this Mandrills down right away, and we can't hold up Shoal, so we basically either fetch or not. If we don't fetch, we shock the Stomping Ground, delve everything. Or we can fetch, delve everything to get a land tapped. Or we can leave the bolt in and probably get something like a forest. Triple green or triple blue? I think it's triple blue first. Let's leave the lightning bolt in the graveyard. Snapcaster Mage right now is a pretty bad draw. It at least pitches to Shoal, but not exactly something I'm looking for in my Snapcaster Mages against Eldrazi Tron. To be fair, we don't know that it's Eldrazi Tron, but I don't think regular Tron plays Basilisk Collar. So that is definitely on my radar. Alright, do they have it? And if so, what are they slamming on the table? They have it. Chalice. That's actually not that scary in this spot. Chalice on 1, Chalice on 2. Sure. Into a Matter Reshaper, that's fine. Well, that just got awkward. We probably play our fetch land. Is it conceivable that in this scenario we want 5 mana? We're going to swing with both because if we don't kill them very quickly, we're going to lose. So I really don't care about them drawing a card off of this Matter Reshaper. Feel free to reshape into whatever you like. I just want the 2 damage. They drew a Thought-Knot Seer. That's fine. We won't be able to Shoal it. It's really awkward that we actually can't Shoal anything super relevant. Chalice is on 2. Shoal Pitch Snapcaster Mage is 2. and Shoal for 4 mana is also 2. So we actually can't counter anything by having the 4th land that wouldn't be countered by Chalice. So we're just going to play that tapped. Hopefully we can get this done. They have a tower. We could be seeing some very big spells right now. So far it's the Thought Knot. It's probably taking our Disrupting Shoal. Although that's really not a huge deal in and of itself unless they have another Expedition mat. They took Snapcaster Mage, which is actually kind of funny. Maybe they didn't realize? That's going to give us a nice pain, the lifelink on this Thought Knot. Other than that, we're probably in a fine spot. If we draw Bolt, we win. This is on 0, so I'm fine with casting it. Yup. We're going to play this. I think we look at our top card. Get the Fetch Scry. What do we got? It is a Delver of Secrets. That could be good. That actually could be very good. We definitely attack with the Aberration. I don't know if we attack with this Mandrills. We might end up trading with Thought Knot. If we don't, they probably block it with the Reshaper. They'll take 2 plus 3, go down to 1. Oh, they could... No, blocking with both doesn't do anything special. If they both had lifelink, that would be relevant. Do I just swing with both? I don't think our life total is really as relevant as theirs is right now. I think we're just going to go guns blazing. If they decide they want life off of the block, they don't get life on the attack. Actually, they could equip it to the Reshaper. I think this attack was a misplay. We should not have attacked with the Mandrills. It's a little unfortunate that I'm realizing it right now. But they can trade the Thought Knot with the Mandrills like they are. They gain 4, they take 3, they effectively gain 1. These two trade. We're going to draw Delver, which is somewhat relevant. I'm pretty happy to draw Delver, because I'm casting it immediately. And we'll go to end step. Unfortunately, they can now put the collar on the Reshaper. We're going to draw a mystery card. It's a Thought Scour. That's not bad. So we have 2 sources of Delver Scry. I'm not entirely sure how relevant that is. Delver Scry is nice, but I'd really rather be guaranteeing the Delver transforms. Oh, I just realized we've seen Shoal and Bauble together already, so I should probably talk about what list we're playing. I am officially off of the Lemon Buster list I've been playing for the last while. I recently decided that Mishra's Bauble is a very good card, as you may or may not remember from one video. I stopped playing and said, wow, this card's really good, it's going to do great things for us. And it did very good things for us that game. It's possible we should have shoaled the map, but I kind of want a Thought Scour on the end step while having the fetch for Delver Scry. So yeah, I threw Bauble into my list. We'll talk about that a little bit when we go to sideboard. It'll be brief. We're going to take 3, they'll gain 3. End step, Thought Scour me. Scalding Tarn, not great. We milled 2 lands. Delver Trigger says Basic Mountain. Let's not and say we did. We're going to fetch. Basic Forest, we may as well. We drew another Thought Scour. Sure. We're going to swing for 4. Now, unfortunately, our opponent's gaining 3 a turn, and we're dealing 4 a turn, which means every turn they lose 1 life, or every turn cycle, they lose 1 life, and we lose 3, which, for anyone who's well-versed in racing, is a very bad thing. I kind of want a Thought Scour here again. We drew a Mana Leak, which is likely to be hot garbage. Do we still have fetchables? We have 1 Steam Vent we can get out of our deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 4 shocks, 4 basics. Yep. So the Steam Vents is the last fetchable in our library. The second Steam Vents, of course, not this one. It is possible it's worth paying the 1 life just to shuffle the deck after we've looked at the top card, but I'm a little happier to do it when I know we'll at least eventually get a land. Xmage is acting up. Let's get another client on top. Xmage made it. Okay. Let's close the other one. Okay, you guys are now here in our opponent's turn. You are here, right? Yep. We are all together again. How nice. This is exile. I don't want that. We want the graveyards. They have another Tron land, which very nicely accentuates how bad Mana Leak is right now. They're not even bothering to use their expedition maps, which is kind of hilarious. Let's shrink this down a little bit. 4 card types means Traverse is a live draw. We can Traverse into Savage Knuckleblade, which would be really sweet. Or we could just draw Savage Knuckleblade and do it the hard way. That puts our opponent to 1 life, which I'm pretty okay with, I think. It costs us 4 mana, so we won't be able to counter anything profitably. But on the other hand, we'll put our opponent to 1 life. Blue, red, green. We should have tapped this forest instead. That was sloppy. Red, red. Swing with team. I'm assuming they don't have anything to interact with this. It's possible we should have held on to the Knuckleblade in case they have an All Is Dust, or they top deck one. That would put us back rather far. On the other hand, we are basically losing the race as it was, so I'm pretty sure slamming Knuckleblade is what we want to do. Our opponent, well, to be fair, Thought-Knot is very powerful, so they did at least draw that. Ooh, here's Karn. There's no way we can Mana Leak that. Oh, we can't even Mana Leak because of Chalice. We could get it out of our hand. How good is that? Do I want to get Mana Leak out of our hand? They need something off of this Sanctum. They need something that can block this Delver, assuming they exile the Knuckleblade. Right now, they can gain 3 by attacking. They exile something with Karn. But if they don't have anything good that they grab off of this Sanctum, they're going to still lose because we have enough attackers. I think I did the math right. They got a Reality Smasher. Oh, that's pretty good. They're going for Xaxes. And Chalice means we can't counter it. Oh, is that awesome. Do they have the mana? They have the mana. They have more than enough. We just lost. That's pretty fantastic. That was really good stuff from our opponent. If we had Mana Leak available, would we win this? Just out of curiosity's sake. We fetch Shock, go to 5, counter Smasher. They can hit us down to 2, and they go up to 4. Yeah, that'd be game. Cool. So Chalice on 2 is apparently pretty good against us as well. Chalice on 1 being the obvious, very good against us. That was awesome. Karn tutor up a hasty Eldrazi. Okay. For whatever reason, Xmage hates me and decided that we shouldn't have things nicely sorted. So I'm just going to fight with Xmage for a moment. Counters can go here. Mana Leak's a counter. Mana Leak is still a counter. Thought Scours. Mishra's Baubles, and can we have the lands on the right? The sideboard's completely unsorted. That's fine. Here's the list I'm currently using. It looks very similar to the list I used before trying out Lemon Busters. The only difference is there are 2 Mishra's Baubles here, 1 fewer Disrupting Shoal, and 1 fewer Thought Scour. I really like Mishra's Bauble right now. I don't know how many we should be playing, but I think we should be playing some. I started with 2 because cutting cards is hard. I took out 1 Thought Scour because it seemed like the most air-ish card we have, although they serve very similar purposes, so I'm not sure about that. They're both at least somewhat good at fueling Delve, Delirium, and Goyf, and I took out a Shoal because I don't want to have a bunch of counters right now, and I feel like it was probably the best cut given that Shoal needs other cards anyways. Let's look at what we're going to bring in. Spell Snare is not great against Eldrazi Tron. Neither is Staticaster. I do want the Ceremonious Rejections and the Huntmasters. We don't want Pyroclasm. We do want Blood Moon. EE seems pretty good, and Vapor Snag actually isn't bad either. We have 11 cards, probably because this is a bad matchup, especially Game 1. Game 1 is usually quite rough. That went a lot better than I would have expected. It's also neat that they have Karn main deck. I don't think they always do that. They probably do usually, though. Let's look at what to cut. Shoal is pretty good, but I think it's one of the cards we cut here, even though it's nice against Map. I don't mind cutting a Mandrills, maybe 2. We'll take out the Thought Scours. I think we want all the lands, all the traverses. Lightning Bolt gets kind of bad. Forked Bolt is even worse. 9 cards. We need 2 more out. Maybe another Mandrills? I could roll with that. Goyf is definitely the fatty that we favor here. Knuckleblade is also very nice. We'll take out a Spell Snare. That should do it. Let's bring in these 11. 60, 15. I think this is pretty good. Let's give it a go. Oh, it's possible we can board out Tarfire now that we have Bauble. This hand isn't bad. It's not perfect, but it's going to set us up nicely for Blood Moon, which I appreciate. It has Game Against Chalice, and it's going to end up slamming a Huntmaster, so I think we're going to run with it. It looks pretty good to me. We probably start off with a Breeding Pool. Traverse for a basic forest. We're going to probably tip them off that we're planning on Blood Mooning at some point. But then again, we don't have Blood Moon in hand, so at least we have sort of a bluff that way. It's a bit of a win-win scenario. If they play around Blood Moon, then since we don't have Blood Moon, they basically are hurting themselves. And if they don't play around Blood Moon, if we draw it, we're going to have a great time. Then again, at the same time, it's also a lose-lose scenario, because if they play around Blood Moon and we draw it, it's a little worse, but then again, I want to get Traverse out of my hand. Here's an Urza's Tower into an Expedition map. We can't EE that. That would have been sweet. Bauble isn't going to help us very much. It is going to tell us what's on top of our library, or maybe theirs. Which one's more important here? I think I want to know what I'm going to draw. No, that actually doesn't seem super relevant. Then again, it might be. Let's see what they draw. A Thought-Knot Seer. Well, here's the awkward thing. EE on 1 isn't going to be... Well, actually, we can play EE on 2 or 1. EE on 1 to try to deal with map is going to be pretty bad because they can just crack the map. Unless they're stuck on lands. But EE on 2 is way better against the rest of their deck. Mainly Chalice. No, Chalice is EE on 0. Why would I EE on 2 against this deck? I don't know. I'm not sure what I want to do here. I kind of want to EE on 1 so that on turn 3 we can blow up the map if they don't have a good map play. But then again, we could do that anyway, so let's just go to them. If they don't have a second land, we can play and crack it. What did we get, Bauble? Serum Visions. Well, that is a lot better if we don't need to do the EE play. Then again, we didn't know about the visions. We could have known about it if we bobbled ourselves, but I don't know if you're supposed to bobble yourself here. Here's a chalice, so we're going to end up EEing on 0. Or we could just do it on 1 and blow up the map. Am I okay with both of us being slowed down? Oh. Well, we actually don't have to do either of those. We can use the Ancient Grudge and blow up both of those cards. Then we don't get to Serum Visions. No, I definitely want to blow up both of these. We could blow up the Chalice and then Visions, but I really want to take out this map. I want to hit them in the mana. I would very much like to hit them in the mana. It doesn't matter what order we do this. Actually, select that, cancel. I'm going to wait. Let's go to their turn. This way they have one fewer turn on which they can map. If they have a map in hand right now, they won't be able to map until their next turn, which could be relevant. Not necessarily, but it could. They have another Tron land, which makes me very happy that we blew up the map. Let's take out the Chalice and slam Huntmaster, unless we draw a Blood Moon. Bolt isn't Blood Moon, but it is a red card, so I did spend probably a nanosecond thinking, oh my lord, we just drew Blood Moon. Unfortunately, we didn't. Let's slam Huntmaster. We're definitely ahead right now. But on the flip side, at any point our opponent could just pull Tron out and we would definitely be disadvantaged. So I don't think we're even close to celebrating yet. Sanctum into Thought Knot. I'm not sure what they take. None of our cards are actually that great. Probably just Visions. Maybe EE, but I don't know what that's dealing with at this point. They are thinking. We can get rid of this Thought Knot. The opponent has 2 mystery cards in hand. Sanctum, they took Vapor Snag. That makes a non-zero amount of sense. Ooh, Snapcaster Mage. Do I want to transform? I don't really want to attack into Thought Knot because, for obvious reasons, we can Visions, set up some draws, or we pass the turn. Oh, we pass the turn, shoot Thought Knot, bolt it. I like that. I like that quite a bit. Yup. Shoot the opponent, shoot the Thought Knot. We're not going to bolt it until we see what they're doing, because we may as well have the chance to bolt something else that we would rather bolt, just in case it comes up. It probably won't, but just in case. They don't have any good attacks here because of our token. Then again, we're not going to use... Oh, they know about the Lightning Bolt. Well, in that case, I'm going to keep my token. They knew what our plan was. Ooh, a Blood Moon. That could lock this game up nicely. If they have another Thought Knot, ooh, it's a Smasher. Do we just bounce that? We totally bounce that. Oh, Vapor Snag's exiled. It's not in the graveyard. That makes me so unbelievably sad. I'm sure you guys understand how sad I am, but still. Unbelievably. Alright, well, let's get an island. At least we have perfect Blood Moon mana. Hopefully they don't get a waste. What do we want to use to cast Blood Moon? Let's Visions first. That's probably the smart choice. Do I want another Snapcaster Mage? Not really. I also don't want another land. Blood Moon, leave up... What? Leave up blue? Pretend we have a Stubborn Denial? I guess that's the most relevant thing we can do. Our attacks are bad. Their attacks are also bad. At least Huntmaster can get value. Blood Moon is really good when they don't have wastes. Even when they have wastes, it's not bad. It turns them into an honest mid-range creature deck. Just slamming Eldrazi's where Eldrazi's. I'm pretty sure Eldrazi is the plural of Eldrazi. It basically just makes them slam Eldrazi where they're supposed to be on the curve instead of way ahead. Chalice, that's fair. Probably on 1. I'd Chalice on 1. Chalice on 2, though, lets them go for Goyf. They're Chalicing on 1. Sure. That's fine by me. Oh, hey. Well, it turns out that wasn't a perfect decision. It does mean we can't flashback anything in our graveyard with Snapcaster Mage. Well, actually, we could EE and then flashback whatever we like. If we EE for 0, we can take out Chalice. That is tempting. I really want to slam this Tarmogoyf, so I don't think we're going to transform this turn. We don't have to worry about All Is Dust until 2 turns from now, so that's nice. I kind of want to play this on 0. Then again, they might draw Basilisk Collar. We're going to cast it on 0. We'll deal with the Chalice probably on their turn. Do we play the Foothills? Probably not. It's not relevant unless we draw something that isn't a land. Next turn, we blow up the Chalice, swing with the team. We can Snap Bolt to finish off Smasher. Looks like fun. It looks like fun. Or we Snap Traverse, get who knows what. We're going to do this now so that we don't have to pay the mana later. Oh, I took out tokens. That was silly. That's okay, though. I can live with that. We can still Snap Bolt the Smasher. Ooh, Stubborn Denial. That's a good one. That's actually an amazing one. We'll swing with both, see if they want to offer up the trade. See if they're willing to give up their Smasher. They are. I, however, would like to keep my Ravager around. Ravager has Trample, so, if we do that, we have to discard Denial. That's okay. Yes. 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 I don't mind discarding Denial here because we're pushing through a bunch of damage. And like I said, they can't All Is Dust for a couple of turns. So we don't actually have to play around it until until their next turn. And by then, they're probably in a bad spot. Hanger back for 4. Perfectly fine. This game went well. This game went very well. Oh, hey, another Lightning Bolt. So, swing with the team. Are they just dead? Yeah, they're just very dead. Cool. Blood Moon's pretty good. Sometimes it's bad, but sometimes it's really good. Drawing this 5/6 Goyf was also very awesome for us. Keeping them off Tron in the early turns with the... Yeah, let's just finish that. Keeping them off Tron in the early turns with the Ancient Grudge, I think, was the pivotal decision that game, because it slowed them down long enough that we could clog the board a little bit and then establish the Blood Moon. Not that we knew we would draw it, but I think keeping them off Tron for as long as you can is a good plan in any case. They did mull to 5, so that obviously helped. So that's how that game went. Is there anything in the board we want? Pyroclasm still seems bad, so does Staticaster. Spell Snare counters Chalice on 1, but we have 1, 2, 3 ways to deal with it once it resolves. Another 2 that counter it. Denial can counter it. Leak can counter it. I don't think we need to play around Chalice with Spell Snares. I would like to have this Mandrills in the deck, but I don't know what you would cut for it. And really, the board ends up clogged. Cutting these seems fine. Do we want to cut this Tarfire? It helps Goyf be big, and Goyf is probably one of our best cards in the matchup. When Goyf is a 5/6, I'm on top of the world. So I actually don't think we cut this. I think we're just going to take the new baubles in stride and just accept the fact that we're more likely to have a really big Goyf, which is kind of what we want. Maybe we cut a Vapor Snag for something. It's not fantastic when we're playing the slow game, but I'm sure it's amazing on the pivotal turn. Kind of like against Death Shadow, where it's not great in the early games because you can't really tempo them that well. They have a bunch of cheap interaction. But in the pivotal turns at the end of the game, when you Vapor Snag something and sneak through some attackers, it's really good. Maybe one's fine. Maybe one's fine. Do we bring in another Mandrills? A Scour? I don't know if I actually like any of these cards more than Vapor Snag. Mandrills is obviously a card I like very much, but we already have 15 threats, and they do a pretty good job of clogging the board. Then again, Vapor Snag basically works against the board clog, so if we're assuming that they're clogging the board a lot, then maybe Vapor Snag isn't great. That's a hard decision. That is a hard decision. I definitely like Dismember. Eldrazi Tron is one of my favorite reasons to play Dismember. Do I want Vapor Snag? Probably. Let's just keep it. We're going to run the 60 back. Submit. Let's do it. Give it a go. On the draw, Rug Delver against Eldrazi Tron. Awful hand. We can cast Dismember. Very good spell in this matchup. Not being able to cast your other spells, that's bad. That is very bad. I don't like it. Mulligan, 6 is probably better. In this case, it actually isn't, but we're still gonna keep on trucking. This hand is at least keepable. It's definitely not great, but it is keepable. We're on the draw. I will accept your offering of Serum Visions, since we're going to draw that. They're gonna Natural Tron us. Okay. And they're going to have Tron before we have Blood Moon down, which means we are in so much trouble. Do we get the basic island? I think we're going to go with the Steam Vents just because we don't have any more lands in hand. Those are 2 more lands. Thank you, deck. I want both. They're actually also the lands we need. Unfortunately, our opponent almost certainly has Natural Tron for turn 3. Natural, I guess in quotes, because of Expedition Map. But when you naturally draw your Expedition Map, I consider that natural too. We're going to have Delver and Denial up next turn. Well, we're going to play Delver, have Denial up. I don't know how good that is. If our opponent goes for something like turn 3 Karn, turn 3 Thought Knot plus Matter Reshaper, turn 3 even Walking Ballista, it's probably not good enough. Oh, they're doing it now. I don't think there's a reason to actually do that. Island, Delver. Don't have anything impactful, please. There's the power plant. What do we got? At least we're protected against Thought Knot. Thought Knot's actually not the end of the world. It's just really, really good. Actually, if this is a Karn, we're ahead. Chalice on what? We can't counter Chalice on 3. If they Chalice on 3, we actually can't counter any Chalices. But Chalice on 3 is what I'm thinking of because I'm really relying on Blood Moon. They're playing Basilisk. If they go Call or Chalice on 3, we can interact. We can't counter that. That's fine. Chalice on 3. Chalice on 3. We're way ahead. Probably not Chalice on 3. Chalice on 1. Denial does absolutely nothing here, so that's fine. We might actually make it out of this alive. Chalice on 2. You sly dog. We have been played. Do I want to put this in the yard? I think I do. That was very good sequencing on our opponent. Then again, Chalice on 2 counters Chalice on 1, so I guess you can't really say great sequencing, but still. We are going to slam a Blood Moon and basically hope that's enough. It probably isn't. But we can dream. I should point out that we got rewarded for getting the Steam Vents because the top cards were Island Misty, and if we got an Island, we wouldn't have been able to get this Forest. They naturally drew the Wastes. So there's that. It doesn't look like they have a lot of impactful stuff in hand, though, so I guess that's okay. They showed us a Basilisk Collar, which is kind of fantastic because it's a dead card. We drew a dead card. We actually have 2. We're probably going to hit them for 3 and then play a subsequent Blood Moon to make it harder for them to... If they have any way of destroying the Blood Moon, we make it a little harder for them to get out of the Blood Moon lock. And we straight up have literally nothing else that can resolve, so not much of a downside to casting it. It's not like the tempo's going somewhere else. If they have a Reality Smasher, we're in trouble. They might not have anything good to do. Goyf's gonna get countered. EE can actually save us here. Outside of Engineered Explosives, we don't have an out to a Resolved Chalice on 2. And it's basically a matter of time until they draw Reality Smasher. Here's a Matter Reshaper. That's actually okay. I don't mind that. The real question is, do we just cast things to get stuff in the graveyard? Oh, I mind that. I mind that a lot. Oh, how I mind that. Do I want to get this Vapor Snag in the graveyard to make Mandrills better? It's actually not going to make Mandrills that much better since we can cast it anyways. So we'll just draw. Denial's another dead card. So we lose the race because we deal 3, they gain 3. We basically just take damage, so we actually have to block with this Aberration now, which really sucks. We lose the short game, and we also lose the long game, which means the game state has to change for us to have basically any realistic hope of winning. They now have 6 mana. Obviously not a good thing. We're going to trade. They're going to gain some life. It's a bummer. They also draw a card. It's a Walking Ballista. That's bad. End the turn. E. That's a mountain. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're going to lose this, guys. We did the best we could, but Chalice on 1, Chalice on 2 is pretty dang good. I wonder if we should have played the Denial there just to make them pay for the Chalice. It cuts them off of Chalice on 2 that turn, which I don't know is actually relevant, but right now it's looking like the best thing we could possibly do. Keep in mind that Walking Ballista has a CMC of 0, so if we do draw that EE in time, we're going to blow up a lot of artifacts. And then subsequently slam some fatties. Unfortunately, we have 3 turns until we're dead on this board alone, and they're gaining life. Here's the equip. So we're basically in naturally draw Engineered Explosives mode. Outside of that, we pretty much can't win. Mandrills can at least... No, Mandrills can't even really block Walking Ballista because they'll just grow it and then wait to attack until it's big enough. Thought Knot is bad for us because we can't do anything about it. Oh! Rejection would have been good if not for Chalice. That's not quite a data point, but it's at least kinda sorta a data point. We now have 2 turns until we are dead. They probably take Goyf, because if we do get out of this, Goyf is the only card that really gets us back in. Snapcaster could flash back something of potential use, but it's probably not that great. What are we looking at here? They took Snapcaster Mage. I'm not entirely sure why. The last time they had Chalice on 2, they also took Snapcaster Mage, so maybe they value that really highly. Denial is not EE. So we're going to take 7. We'll go down to 6. And then we have precisely 1 turn to draw EE. We blow up the Ballista. No, we're still dead in that case. No, we draw EE and we slam Goyf. That's it. We top deck EE right now. We slam Goyf. We have a chance. Just one chance. But it's a chance. That's a reality smasher. We are dead, ladies and gentlemen. Another card I would like to counter with the Ceremonious Rejection. So we probably should have just gone straight to the taxing their mana when they played the Chalice for 1. I think that was probably the only real mistake we made this game, or at least the clearest mistake we made. That's 1. GG's opponent. That was a good match. I enjoyed it. And are we going to get shot? Yup. Here comes the... What do ballistas shoot? Maybe bolts. Crossbows shoot bolts. I don't know what ballistas shoot. It's either a bolt, an arrow, maybe it's just called a shaft. Ballistas shoot bolts, according to Google. So there you go. That is your fun fact for the day. I'm just going to cut back to the deck because I did change the list slightly, so we may as well take a quick look at it. It's sorted here, it's just not sorted when we go to sideboard because Xmage is cruel. So we brought in these 2 baubles, took out 1 Disrupting Shoal, 1 Thought Scour. I think Bauble is where we want to be. Bauble looks really good. It's the main thing from the list that I like. Probably because it was a 3 of, so it came up often enough that I was able to see it and actually think, well, that's a good card. Whereas something like Gnarlwood Dryad came up once or twice, so I really don't have much of an idea. I like our list quite a bit, I think. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you in the next one.